Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this video, we are going to be playing another round of my TBR game in which Scrabble picks my TBR. This month will be the November TBR, and it's crazy to think that it's almost November when I am filming this. Also, December will mark 1 year since I started playing this TBR game. Super exciting stuff, and I am so happy that so many people have enjoyed watching these videos. I always have fun filming them. Basically, how this game works is that every single month I spell 5 words in Scrabble, and those 5 words act as my reading prompts for the month. When I successfully complete the prompt, then I get to collect the points from that word, and when I reach 150 points, then I get a free pick in the next month's TBR. I also get 1 star tile that I can use during the month to switch out one of the letters I draw, and if I have to switch out my letters a second time, then I have to add another book to the TBR. Okay, let's go over how I did on last month's TBR, and when I am filming this, October is not quite over yet, so I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to complete the TBR or not, but let's go through what I read so far. I did read A Perilous Undertaking, which was my free pick. I read His Hideous Heart by Dahlia Adler. I read Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, so I did complete those 3 prompts. Then I still have to read The English Wife by Lauren Willig. However, I am confident I am going to finish this. I think I have plenty of time. The one that I'm not sure about is The Woman in White. I read over 100 pages of this, but I still have 500 to go, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to finish it before the end of October. I also still have to read the last 100 pages of Voyager by Diana Gabaldon, which was from my September TBR, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have the time to finish this month. I will be finishing this book no matter what. I just might have to carry it over to November, in which case I won't give myself the points. But in case you want to know what our point total is right now, if I do finish The Woman in White, I will have 31 points. If I don't finish it, then I think I will have 22. So we'll see if I finish it, and I will adjust the points accordingly. That all being said, let's dive into this month's TBR picks. So the letters left over from last month's TBR are S-O-K-A-L. That is 5. That means I need to start by picking 2 more letters, and I just realized the board is facing the wrong direction. It's supposed to be facing you. That's better. And the first 2 letters of the game will be U and C. So for my first word, I'm going to spell lock. And for this, I'm going to read a locked room mystery. Ooh, fun. Okay. So first up for the November TBR, I spelled lock, meaning a locked room mystery. Now, some of you might say this is technically cheating. A locked room mystery basically refers to a murder mystery in which somebody is killed in a locked room or some other kind of enclosed space. So there's a very small pool of suspects as to who could have committed the murder. Nowadays, you also hear people use the term locked room mystery to refer to basically what is a closed circle mystery, basically a mystery that takes place in an isolated setting. And by the original definition, that's not technically a locked room mystery, but I do hear people commonly refer to them as such, even if that's not technically correct. Looking at my TBR, I couldn't think of any book on there that does involve a murder that physically takes place in a locked room. Cards on the Table by Agatha Christie is a good example of a locked room mystery, but I've already read that. So I think I'm going to use the more generic definition and just pick a mystery that takes place in an isolated setting. Sorry about that, but I couldn't think of a locked room mystery that I haven't read yet on my TBR. And when I Google locked room mystery book recs, it's a lot of lists in which people are using the more encompassing definition, so sorry about that. So I consulted this Goodreads list that somebody created, and there were several books on my TBR that were on this list. My first thought was to read The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. Library waitlist is too long, so couldn't do that. Then I thought maybe The Sanitarium by Sarah Pierce. Library waitlist is too long, couldn't do that. So what I'm actually going to read, finally I'm getting to the point, is One by One by Ruth Ware. The library does have the audiobook for this, and while I usually don't love audiobooks, I think this would be a really great time of year to read this book. This is a murder mystery that follows a group of co-workers who are all on a retreat together at, I believe, a remote ski chalet. I heard a lot about this book when it first came out, but not so much recently. I don't love Ruth Ware as much as other people on BookTube do. I gave some of her books 4 stars. Some of the other ones didn't do much for me, but I'll be interested to see my thoughts on this. That's the first book on the November TBR. I think I may have messed up the camera angle a little bit. I'm sorry, but all right, we need 4 more letters. R. T. Do you hear music? There's music somewhere in my house. I don't know who is playing that. O. And A. Last. And there are a couple ways that this could go. I think I could say this is the last book I added to my TBR, the last book I bought, the last book in a series, though I don't think there's really any that I could put on the TBR that apply to that. But there's a couple different ways that I could go with the prompt last. All right, next up, last. And my original thought for this was to read the last book that I added to my Goodreads TBR. However, I had another conundrum because the last 9, yes, 9 books that I added to my Goodreads TBR either have not come out yet or the library doesn't have it. And I don't really want to go buy a book right now for this prompt, so I had to think of something else. And what I decided is I will read the last book that I added to my TBR shelf on the Libby app. And that is The Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz. I don't know that much about this book. I went to a locally owned bookstore a couple months ago and I started talking with the owner there, talking about the kinds of books that I like, and she said, I think you should read this book, and so I added it to my TBR after speaking with her. Basically, this is a mystery book where the main character is trying to track down the author of a mystery book who has gone missing, and I think the main character is editing this book or something, and they don't have the ending yet, so they want to go figure out where this author has gone and how the book is going to end. And I guess there are also some murders, because murder is in the title. As you can probably tell, I really don't know what this book is about, but somebody recommended it to me, so I'm gonna give it a try. It does make me a little nervous that it's 500 pages, but we'll see how it goes. H. W. And E. Alrighty. Okay, I think I've thought of a good one, and it uses the double word score. So this is a pretty big word in terms of letters and points. Author. And once again, there's multiple different ways I could go with this, because I could do a new to me author. I could do one of my favorite authors. Next up, I spelled author, and there are a lot of different ways I could go with this. It could be a new to me author, it could be an author I love, could be a second chance author, but I want to be nice to myself this month, so I'm going to go with author I like, and I'm finally going to read The Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie. This is the first in the Hercule Poirot series, and because I know I would like to read all the Poirot novels eventually, I'm going to start trying to read them in some semblance of chronological order. It's not required that you read them in order. As long as you read Curtain last, you can really go in whatever order you want. I am a little nervous because someone told me a spoiler about this book. I was listening to a podcast and they spoiled a trope in this book without warning, and while they did not explicitly say so-and-so is the murderer, based off of the trope, I think I know who it's going to be. Hopefully I'm wrong. Maybe I'll be wrong. That would be good, because I really do want to be surprised. I was so upset when I heard this spoiler, but we'll see. And this is a short read, so very manageable. I can do it. Okay, now I have to do 5 more letters, so that's a lot. All right. First up, D. X, 4, so another 3. That's an A. R. And C. So, okay, hopefully you guys think this is an okay prompt, but I'm going to spell draw, and for this, I'm going to pick my book by random draw. I'm just going to use the random feature on Goodreads to have Goodreads pick a random book from my TBR to read. Next up for draw, I'm going to pick the next book on my TBR by random draw. This could go well or it could go terribly, but regardless, it's going to be fun. So I pulled up my Goodreads TBR, I full screened it, hopefully you'll be able to see all right, and I'm just going to sort by random. Whatever pops up, that's what I'm reading. Okay. Hopefully you can see this. It's 4 Dead Queens by Astrid Schulte. I don't remember much about this book, but that's what I'm reading, evidently. This is a fantasy novel, a standalone, I believe, that also involves a murder mystery plot in which these 4 queens are all murdered. So, sounds interesting, and honestly, it's probably something that I wouldn't have picked up anytime soon had it not been for the random draw, so all in all, I would say this prompt turned out pretty well. That's what I'm going to read this month. And the last 3 letters for this month will be L, O, and finally I. All right. I mean, technically, I can use this star tile if I want to exchange maybe, you know, my X or my Y or something, but I mean, I can think of a word to spell, so I think I'm just gonna stick with these letters, and, you know, the X is gonna be next month's Jackie's problem, okay? Jackie in December is gonna be pissed at Jackie right now, but that's okay. So leave me in the comment section some suggestions of words that I could spell that include an X. Future me will be grateful to you if you do. But the word that I'm thinking of is, oops, real. So for this, I'll read, I'm knocking all the letters off, a non-fiction book. Technically, I guess I could also go with a fiction book that's inspired by real events, but I think I might go for a non-fiction here. Non-fiction November? I don't know. And you know, that's a pretty broad prompt. I mean, there's so many different types of non-fiction books. I can really pick whatever one I'm in the mood for. So that's the last prompt for this month. So my last prompt for the month is real, and for this I was going to read a nonfiction book or a book based off of real events. And there was one book that when I sat down to film, I was thinking I'm gonna pick this one, but now I'm kind of changing my mind. Originally, I was gonna put The Five by Hallie Rubenhold on the TBR, which is a nonfiction about the canonical 5 victims of Jack the Ripper, and I love a good Victorian mystery. However, there are so many mysteries on this TBR, I don't know if I really want to read a nonfiction book about a Victorian serial killer when I'm reading all these other murder mysteries. So I am pivoting and I'm going to put something else on the TBR. What I'm going to read instead is The House of Medici, Its Rise and Fall by Christopher Hibbert. After I watched the Netflix Medici series, I really wanted to find a nonfiction book about the House of Medici to learn more about the history as it actually happened, because that TV show was super entertaining. I read a lot of stuff about the Medicis online after watching it. It got me interested into that family and that era, but the show took a lot of historical liberties, a lot. So I wanted to read a book about what actually happened, and doing some research, I heard a lot of people say this is a really good book about the Medici family to read if you're interested in that sort of thing. It's also not that long for historical nonfiction, so I think this is what I'm gonna go with. It'll add a little more variety to the TBR, so it's not just murder mystery, murder mystery, murder mystery, murder mystery. So those are going to be the prompts for this month's TBR, and these are the letters that I am carrying over to next month. Not great ones. X, C, O, and a Y. But you know, I'll worry about that later. So leave your suggestions for words that I could spell with an X that can also be a prompt, because that's a tricky letter to use. So let me know if you have any ideas. I always love to hear your ideas for Scrabble TBR prompts, so don't ever hesitate to share some with me in the comments. All right, so those are the TBR picks for this month. To recap, I will be reading One by One by Ruth Ware, Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz, The Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie, The House of Medici, Its Rise and Fall by Christopher Hibbert, and Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schulte. I also forgot to mention at the beginning of the video that I have to read the book for my office book club this month. However, I really didn't want to put it on the TBR because this is a book I've read before and I wanted to have 5 new books to read. The book that we're reading for book club is Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell, which I've already read and I really loved it. However, I will be rereading it this month to freshen my memory before our book club discussion. I don't think we're having book club until after Thanksgiving, so I have plenty of time to reread this before then, and hopefully I'll get to all the other books on my TBR too. So that is it for this video, everyone. If you have read any of the books that are on my November TBR, please let me know in the comment section what you thought of them. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every single Wednesday. My social media links are down below if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a satisfying rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you in the next video.